this in my opinion, I'll just go ahead and say it right out the gate, this is the best looking current V7. All right, here we are in the shop. We're doing a little bit of a quick one because for in the loop, because the weather's nice. We got to get as many bikes ridden as possible. So we're looking at one being prepped. When we get bikes in, they don't have the battery in them and they haven't been started and stuff like that. So we've got to hook them up to the computer and we've got to do all the things on the lift. So this is the last of the 4 of these that we got delivered. This is a 2023 Moto Guzzi, of course, V7 Stone Special. Now, if you want to know all the details that are different, not all of them, but a lot of the different aesthetic details that are different on this bike from the Stone or from the Special, check out my other video, which is the first look on these. So this is going to be the ride. This is what I do here at Throttle Company in Columbus, Ohio. I do a thing called In the Loop. I take you around a test ride, show you off a bike. Sometimes it's new, sometimes it's vintage. We do vintage bikes, Moto Guzzi and Royal Enfield. So sometimes I'm riding a bike from the 60s and sometimes I'm riding a brand new one that's fresh off the truck. So that's what we're doing today. This is a special edition of the Stone, which makes it confusing because there's also a V7 Special, but this is the Stone Special, which means it has a single gauge cast wheels and black exhaust. We also have, speaking of exhaust, special for this bike by Aero. It's a dual exhaust, so dual sides, and it sounds a little bit gnarlier, a little bit bassier, and hopefully I'll be able to capture that on video, but probably not. The cylinder head is kind of a graphite gray that matches the Eagle. It's shiny black. We don't have enough sunlight today. Maybe you can see a little bit, and these are kind of not really, the paint hasn't been prepped, but there's a little flake to it, a little sparkle to it, which I love. Other than that, it's mostly just minor details. Shiny front fender, silver Eagle on the front. The turn signals are different, the rear lights are different, and they come with bar and stock, or bar and mirror stock. I don't have a license plate, but we'll be fine. Red shock springs, of course, and the seat. So that's kind of your quick overview. I've never ridden one of these. I'm assuming it rides very similar to the regular V7. And hopefully I'm going to stay off of it. I'm going to start it. I'm not sure you're going to get the sound here. Boom, 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 boom. It's got more of a deep rumble to it. And I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've ridden a motorcycle. Well, I guess I'm not sure. But you've ridden a motorcycle probably, and you've probably ridden a motorcycle with a louder exhaust than stock. It makes you feel faster, it makes you feel cool. So it's kind of the idea. And this in my opinion, I'll just go ahead and say it right out the gate, this is the best looking current V7. There's some cool special editions. I'm a scrambler guy, I love scramblers, and we have the Stornello scrambler. I'm taking this real wide because we still got some kind of mud and I was worried about that guy. All that Zacco in there. He's got a brand new Royal Enfield GT. And anyway, my dad has a 2017 Moto Guzzi V7 Anniversario. So it's the 50th anniversary. I don't know if it's my imagination, but man, this thing feels peppy. I didn't pay attention to what riding mode we were in. I guess I should have. Today is a beautiful day. It is the 30th of December. It's 60 degrees today. I'm not exaggerating any of that. That's crazy. So you see that there's been slush and snow on the roads. It just snowed, our first snow. This is 2022, obviously. This is a 2023 bike. And the snow has just melted because of today, but you see some of it over there. So it was, I mean, it was about as cold as it ever gets. It was, you know, -10, felt like -25 with the wind chill. It was crazy cold. Now, beautiful. So we got a little bit of a reprieve here, and I'm riding every bike in the shop. I don't know what it is. This bike feels significantly faster. Maybe it's that exhaust. I swear it's like 1 horsepower more. Maybe it's just been a minute since I've ridden a V7, but You know, V7s, if you're not up on the very latest, they went to an 850 2 years ago, so they essentially share the same engine architecture with the V85. Now I'm saying this, like I said, the very end of 2022, and the brand new engined Moto Guzzi V100 Mandello comes out. We believe it's out in other parts of the world, but we believe that bike should hit us next month. We've got a bunch of pre-orders. I mean, a lot of pre-orders, and those guys get their bikes before we do. So we're going to have a demo, but we haven't been able to place that order yet. This bike feels incredible. V7s are incredible. You know, the weirdest thing about Moto Guzzi, especially the V7, is it's sort of the best kept secret in modern motorcycles, modern classic motorcycles. Every day people say, oh, I've never seen a Moto Guzzi in person, I've never heard of Moto Guzzi or whatever. That's just ridiculous, because these are just awesome motorcycles. Maybe these grips feel spongier, I don't know. Everything about this bike feels awesome. The seat has a little bit more, maybe I'm making all this up, but the seat has a little bit more of a dish to the back of it, and these are very comfortable seats. The interesting thing about Moto Guzzi, I mean, they take their upholstery very seriously, being Italian, but the seats are firmer than you would think you'd like. And oh geez, man. And anyway, I think sometimes you sit on a soft seat and you think, oh, that's so comfortable, but it will be uncomfortable in about 10 miles. And these firm seats are all day comfortable. I got my little, in case you're wondering, that's the fuel light. We just put gas in this just to start it. Hopefully I don't run out, but usually we fill them up with gas on this test drive, but I'm not doing that with you. That would be boring. So hopefully I don't have to have some come run gas out to me. But these bikes feel incredible. I didn't mention this in this video, but the thing about V7s, the thing about all Moto Guzzis, is they have these transverse, you know, sort of sideways mounted V8, especially if you're used to Harleys. I said V8, I don't know how to say that. V engine. So the engine is a V configuration, V twin, and I don't know why I always call it a V8. I guess cars. But anyway, so it's like sort of the Harley that you're used to or whatever, the V twin engine, but it's sideways. And then the dry clutch transmission, dry clutch, and out to the drive shaft, and so they're all set up like that. And it makes it so when you start the bike, it rocks back and forth. When I really get on it here, if I come out of this turn and give it a lot of throttle, the bike kind of stands up and shifts to the right. You're never going to notice it on video, but I notice it, feeling it. Anyway, Moto Guzzis all have Brembo brakes. They're just over-engineered as far as the braking goes. That new exhaust sounds awesome. And it's only going to, exhaust kind of break in. I don't know if you're familiar with that or if you have any experience, whoever's watching this, with that kind of thing. But people will sometimes say, oh, my exhaust is so, I'm going to slow down and not go through this puddle. My exhaust is so quiet on stock one. Well, give it a chance to kind of break in. And that happens. You know, you send a lot of hot gas through there, and it will kind of clear things out. And whether or not there's different kinds of baffling in there or whatever, it will clear things out and get louder with age. And I know this one, you can tell already it's going to age really well. These Moto Guzzis, all V7s, all Moto Guzzis, all modern bikes are 6-speed. So you can see the gear indicator there. I'm in 5th gear. Now I'm in 6th gear at 3,000 RPMs at 50 miles an hour-ish. Awesome. It's a highway bike. It's a highway speed bike with complete effortless. Taking this bike to 100 miles an hour is just no problem at all. I don't know if people think about I think of these as big bikes. You know, it's kind of interesting. Americans, you know, Harleys up to 1800 cc plus. I know Nicole has a brand new with 114, but they even have bigger engines now. So I think that's sort of has set our standard is, oh, these bikes have to be, you know, 1200 cc or more. And the modern Triumphs are that way too. The high-end ones or the most expensive ones are 1200s, and their 900s is the lowest. At least in the modern classics, the ones I care about, to be honest. And This 850, you don't ever feel like, oh wow, I need more power. It's somewhere just under 70 horsepower. It's like 68, 65 in that range, but it feels awesome. Everything is very smooth, very linear, very predictable. But I haven't mentioned that yet in this video. If you're playing the at-home Moto Guzzi video drinking game, I have not yet mentioned character. The reason you buy a Moto Guzzi, for the most part, maybe you fall in love with the look, and this motorcycle, who could blame you? We have already gotten so many calls. We posted one photo or maybe one video or whatever on social media, and just a ton of people called us. I was actually testing the brights out, at least on that one. I gotta tell them about that. But anyway, the character, and it comes from the engine. Obviously the drive shaft has something to do with it, but the cohesive engineering strategy behind what makes this motorcycle unique is the cylinders sticking out the side, the rocking back and forth, the dry clutch. Even though by modern standards this clutch is extremely light, so don't let that put you off. It's just another method of disabling the engine power for the transmission to do its job. But if I didn't tell you that, you'd never notice. These modern bikes are completely effortless, and then the drive shaft gives you this kind of immediacy of the drivetrain. I don't know how to explain it because I've never ridden a bike with a chain drive and said, oh, there's a delay or something. You don't feel like that, but there is something direct and immediate about a Moto Guzzi, and especially this V7. So if you are looking for a modern classic type bike, and we sell Royal Enfields, so if you're at all interested in the Interceptor or the GT, the V7 is somewhere right in the middle of the Interceptor and GT, especially with these bar end mirrors. You get a little cafe racer style. And if you're at all kind of considering Triumph Bonneville or T100, is probably even more in that range, something in the Triumph 900 water-cooled world, or Thruxton is a 1200 now. But if you're kind of considering any of those bikes, you really should consider Moto Guzzi, and I seriously mean that. The interesting thing about my job, I don't consider it salesman. Let's aim ourselves at this Moto Guzzi door while I talk. So there's a famous Moto Guzzi. It's 100 years old, actually 101 years old now. Well, I guess I missed the neutral. And they're made in the same factory in a place called Mandello del Lario, basically on the lake in Lake Como in Italy. And they have a famous red gate, so we emulated that here in Columbus, Ohio, in our dealership. We're one of 2 dealers in the whole state of Ohio. There's one in Cincinnati, Hi to Cadre. They're very well regarded in the world of Moto Guzzi, and they talked us into this whole thing, so it's their fault. But we went down there and visited with those guys, and they said Moto Guzzis are great, and they gave us test rides, and we agreed. And I've been in love with them ever since. That's a couple of years. Extremely loud vehicle there. Anyway, this bike is just gorgeous. I wish I had a little bit more light to show you the flake, but the exhaust sound is just a touch more aggressive than the stock one. I'm sure I pulled up here saying something, but anyway, if you're considering those other motorcycles, you really should look at this. This is what I meant to say, is that I do not consider myself a salesman. Maybe you're watching this thinking, oh, you're absolutely a salesman. You're biased. This is why you're saying all these things. I love this motorcycle. I wouldn't tell you if I didn't, and I sincerely love a lot of the bikes that we have. We're lucky with Royal Enfields. Got all of them lined up here. We do test drives, so these are our test drive bikes. But I'm lucky with both of these brands that they don't make a single motorcycle that I don't love. I don't love every motorcycle. I love all these, but obviously I bought most of them. But this one is fantastic. It's something you should definitely look at if you're looking for something a little bit unique. A lot of Moto Guzzi's current riders have been riding for a long time, and they have a lot of motorcycles, and especially they do special editions, and you're thinking, oh, I love that V7, I always wanted one. The special, it just appeals to me. It's the perfect one. But newer riders, I think, should consider them. There's nothing about this bike specifically that would be more difficult for a newer rider, and you're not going to have the same bike as everybody else. It's a unique character bike, and I love them. And this one might be my dad's. He's in there walking around. I just saw him. He loves a special edition. He loves black. He loves black bike. Most of his motorcycles are black. And he loves the V7. Like I said, he had the Anniversario. That and this bike are just the two most gorgeous V7s ever made. And I don't blame him. I don't know the VIN number if this is actually going to be his or not, but maybe. And it could be yours. We have 2 more left. So we sold 2 right out of the gate, and they sent us 2 more saying, oh, great job, here's 2 more, go sell those. So we have 4 at the moment, and 2 are sold, so 2 available. But they're going to be going quick. I've already got the first look out on this bike, and I'm going to post this as soon as I can. So if you're seeing this, maybe you can get it. I can always order more, I believe, for, you know, it's a limited edition, but for a while I should be able to get you more. So give us a call, send me a message down below in YouTube or Facebook or email, whatever you got, and we'll get back to you and let you know. All right, thank you very much for following along with me on the In Loop, and I'll see you next time.